My trip to Florida Caverns State Park was unlike any other Florida experience I'd had before. Usually, Florida means beaches, sun, and theme parks. But near Marianna, in the Panhandle, I found myself stepping into a surprisingly cool, damp, and utterly fascinating underground world for the second time in over 2 decades. Driving up from Miami this time, a wave of nostalgia washed over me as I approached the familiar turn. It had been over 20 years since my first visit, a hazy memory from my younger days, but I remembered the general feeling of wonder. The park had changed a bit, but the core essence, and that robust, rustic visitor center, largely built by the Civilian Conservation Corps during the Great Depression, still gave off that palpable sense of history. You could almost feel the echoes of those workers who built the park. The ranger this time was incredibly helpful, explaining the current cave tour schedule, and I quickly secured my ticket. My advice, as it was back then and remains now: get there early, especially if it's a weekend. They do fill up. The anticipation built as we gathered for the guided cave tour. Our guide, a friendly ranger with a deep knowledge of geology, led us to the cave entrance. Stepping inside was like entering a different world all over again. The air immediately cooled, and the humidity clung to my skin, just as I remembered. It was darker, of course, but the strategically placed lights illuminated the incredible formations, transforming the cavern into a silent, natural art gallery. We walked through passages that were sometimes wide and grand, other times surprisingly narrow. You definitely have to duck in a few spots, just as I recalled doing last time. Everywhere I looked, there were these astonishing speleothems, massive stalactites hanging like stone icicles from the ceiling, and stalagmites rising from the floor, some looking like melting candles. The guide pointed out how they formed over millions of years, drop by slow drop of mineral-rich water. I saw the delicate soda straws, the flowing, almost fabric-like draperies, and immense columns where stalactites and stalagmites had finally met. It was humbling to think about the sheer amount of time it took for these formations to grow, and even more so to realize that in the 2 decades since my last visit, these formations had grown, imperceptibly to the human eye, but continuously. We even spotted some fossilized marine life embedded in the limestone, a stark reminder that this land was once under a warm, ancient sea. Beyond the caverns, the park offered so much more. I took a walk along some of the trails, which were a nice contrast to the underground adventure. This time, I didn't have the chance, but on my first visit all those years ago, we spent a fantastic afternoon canoeing on the Chipola River. I distinctly remember the peacefulness of paddling downstream, the sunlight filtering through the trees along the banks, and the cool spray from the paddle. The river looked just as inviting today, winding serenely through the park. Spending a day at Florida Caverns State Park was a truly memorable experience, perhaps even more so for it being a return trip. It's a place that makes you feel small in the face of geological time, yet deeply connected to the history of both the Earth and human ingenuity. It's definitely a must-visit if you're looking for a side of Florida that goes beyond the typical sunshine and sand, and it's clear it holds its magic even after 2 decades.